A big investigation into abuse allegations in women's soccer has rattled the sports world across the country. Good evening, I'm Mary Alice Demler. The results of a year-long investigation was issued this week that outlines allegations of verbal, physical, even sexual abuse within the National Women's Soccer League. 2 on Your Side's Nate Benson joins us with the impact of this report across the country. And Nate, this involves a local team too.
Yeah, that's right, Mary Alice. The former National Women's Soccer team, the Western New York Flash, is mentioned in this report, and the investigation cited player concerns about toxic culture. Also questions about a coach being hired in 2016 despite a so-called human resource issue at a different team. Former acting U.S. Attorney General Sally Yates led the year-long investigation into women's soccer.
We're talking about sustained, degrading, and manipulative conduct that was all about power.
Over 200 interviews were conducted, half of which were current or former U.S. Women's National Team or NWSL players.
The clarity that's been provided by a report that at times is just incredibly visceral, upsetting, disturbing, and there's so many different layers to it.
Nick Mendola covers soccer for NBC Sports and is president of the FC Buffalo men's and women's team, which play in smaller semi-pro leagues.
The United States Women's National Team played England on Friday in England, and every press conference over there internationally was about this report and how shook up and shaken the women were. So it's a lot. I mean, big names are affected.
The 300-plus page report says the NWSL repeatedly failed to respond appropriately when confronted by player reports and evidence of abuse. And within that report are mentions of the Western New York Flash, at one time part of the NWSL. The Yates report also included comments about former coach and current Flash Academy director Aaron Lyons. The report cites that in 2015, unnamed players described a completely toxic environment at the Western New York Flash, saying that Coach Lyons created a, quote, absolute hellhole. Another player saying the environment was dehumanizing and dangerous. 2 on Your Side reached out to the Western New York Flash asking about the organization hiring Paul Riley in 2016. Riley is singled out in the Yates report for allegations of harassment and sexual coercion when he coached other teams. The organization responded saying they were never made aware of any allegations of inappropriate conduct by Riley. The statement from a legal representative of the Western New York Flash also pointed out that in the report there was no specific allegations of misconduct, harassment, abuse, or discrimination against the Flash or coach Aaron Lyons. Mendola says this report will have a trickle-down effect and smaller leagues and even community soccer clubs will need to address.
Unfortunately, we're still at a point where women's athletes are marginalized, and it's really sad because the United States had the head start. We were taking care of this in a huge capacity. The reason we've won so many World Cups on the women's side is because we're early adopters.
Now, that report goes into greater detail about the hiring of Coach Paul Riley in 2016. You can find that full report, by the way, on our website. Nick Mendola, who we spoke to for this story, was at one time a play-by-play announcer for the Western New York Flash. In the newsroom, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.